I want to now get a view from someone who's been speaking up, particularly for the Kuki community. Thangohal Haukip is Associate Professor at JNU. I'm also joined by Lieutenant General Shaukin Chauhan. He's former DG Assam Rifles, so has known the ground situation for years. First to you, Professor Haukip. Do you believe that the resignation of the Chief Minister now can provide a healing touch to a scarred state?
Rasdeep, as many critics pointed out, it's too late, too little that has been done by the central government. We have suggested the resignation of the Chief Minister years ago, that his resignation, his removal could bring some kind of peace and healing to the communities and some space for negotiation. But that has been not heard for the last 21 months.
But he's done it now. But Professor, now that he's done it, isn't it at least a step forward?
It could be some form of step, but definitely the other group is not happy with whatever that has been started, because Manipur conflict is not a simple conflict. As I pointed out 21 months ago in this channel, it is a product of political machination, resulting in total polarization of the two communities. And due to the scale of the conflict and the violence, the divide is so deep that the general population is not willing to negotiate with the other community. Mm-hmm. So what we need now is a kind of a political solution to bring peace, and that has not been.
No, what is that political solution? Be more specific again. What is the political solution you believe to the Manipur crisis?
To my opinion, there are different levels of political solutions that can be brought into this conflict. But the central government has not invited any of the community leaders for this kind of political negotiations. It can start from negotiating for a certain level of autonomy within the state of Manipur, or solution as per Article 3 of the Constitution. So that offer has to be made first by the central government, but that is not on the table till now. And what only the central government tries to push to is about peace, and no talks about any forms of permanent solution, because we don't want to repeat the horrors of this kind of conflict. As a community member, we don't want these horrors to be repeated in future. So certain forms of constitutional mechanism has to be put in place so that we are safe within the.
So you're saying within the territory of Manipur, create spaces where Kukis will get a certain level of autonomy, or Kuki-bound areas could get a certain level of autonomy, seems to be one of the solutions. But that, of course, is very contentious. And Lieutenant General Shaukin Chauhan, the fear, of course, is that we've reached a stage because of various other vested interests involved, some from across the border in Myanmar. There is talk of the role of drug runners who have played a role in fueling the conflict. The kind of gun running, drug trafficking that's going on is being accused to have played a major role in ensuring that the violence continues to be fomented. Do you see this still as a major security challenge, that this is not just about changing a chief minister, this is now perhaps the most serious security challenge the Modi government has faced in the last 10 years?
Good evening, Rajdeep. Thank you for calling me for your show. Indeed, it's a difficult solution. Firstly, the issue that narcotics is one of the drivers of this violence. There is no doubt about it. The situation in Myanmar, the violence in Myanmar, the fact that there are violent groups opposing the Myanmar army, including the Chins, is definitely a second driver of the situation. The fact that the Myanmar army's battle with the Chin National Army and the Chin state as such has forced a number of Chin refugees into India. You're aware, there are almost 36,000 refugees in Mizoram and about 5,000 odd in Manipur. So all these issues, Rajdeep, along with the fact that our insurgent groups still have illegal camps in Myanmar. The Myanmar army, because they do not control that area, has left the situation and the command and control, or the administration in the hands of these insurgent groups. So the movement of weapons, the movement of narcotics, the movement of illegal equipment coming inside India, people causing these flames of violence to happen is a very major,
So what's the answer?
issue.
Because the government up to now has been pumping in more and more troops. Only a little over a month ago, there were many more companies of the CRPF, 90 additional companies of the Central Armed Police Force, and there are around 9,000 personnel who've been sort of pumped in just in the last few months to add to the existing Assam Rifles, the state police, the army. Is that enough? Is Manipur now simply about pumping in as many forces to in some way control the insurgent groups and the drug runners?
Rajdeep, here I'll differ with you. The idea is, firstly, get the existing insurgent groups to demobilize and disarm. It is extremely important that the existing insurgent groups in Manipur are disarmed and the weapons that they have stolen are returned to the state. We must firstly reduce the number of weapons that are existing inside the state of Manipur. That's the first step, Rajdeep. The second step is, once we have that, we must get the youth leaders or the youth or the leaders of these communities to sit down together and talk. There is no question, Rajdeep, that the state can be divided. A divided state simply cannot function. It is impossible to monitor, and the advantage will only be taken by insurgent groups across the border in Myanmar, and of course China, which will always fish in troubled waters. So it's extremely important that now that the chief minister has resigned, this is just the first step. Disarm the groups that were created. Disarm the mighty groups, disarm the cookie groups, disarm everybody, get their weapons, get everything there, and make them sit together. Okay. Manipur is controlled not just by the internal strife. It has an external dimension. It has an interstate problem. So these issues must come in. Rajdeep, there can be no peace in Manipur, that till there is peace in Nagaland, till there's peace in Mizoram, and till we get some modicum of peace inside Myanmar, especially the states bordering us.
Lieutenant General Shaukin Chauhan, for speaking so plainly and telling us what the security challenges are, as well as Mr. Hauke for telling us what you believe is the concerns that Kuki groups in particular have. I appreciate you joining us on the show tonight.